Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video will not be exciting, it will not be glamorous, and it will not change your life, but it is going to change your account. We're going to get into gear cleansing, not the fun stuff, but the necessary stuff. The thing that we kind of all need to do, that we usually all put off doing, but ultimately we're going to turn full bags of gear into either good gear or silver. Pretty simple. Let's do it. Guys, before we move ahead, just letting you know I've got a new player promo link and it is waiting for you in the pinned comment and description of this video, and it's going to get you off to a solid head start in Raid with a free legendary and 3 free epics as you level up your account. Here's what you need to do. You'll want to log out of Plarium and Play on your PC and uninstall the game, click the link in the description and register with a brand new email address, launch Raid, complete your tutorial, go to your inbox and claim your first free champion. Nice and easy, guys. Let's do some gear cleansing. Right, so last night I spent a lot of time farming the Fire Knight, and as you can see here, I've got 155 bits of gear. There's probably a few little Cursed City and Clan Boss rewards thrown in there as well. What we need to do is we need to turn 155 bits of maybe into a solid little chunk of yes, that is some good gear. So right off the bat, I am going to say for today's video, and hopefully for the majority of players, let's not get caught up on what set is what and does what. Let's just learn how to recognize good synergy so that when you look at a bit of gear, you can go, okay, it might not be right for the set, but that is still good gear. This is going to save you tons of silver and hopefully just make the process of going through it all a lot quicker and a lot less painful. Okay, so as you're going to see here, I've come all the way down to the bottom here and I have hidden my set filters. That just puts everything new in one place so I can just see it all and not have to get kind of distracted by subheadings and all of that stuff. To me, it's just an easier workspace and I find it a little bit easier to go through. The first thing I need to do, and this is for me and for my account, I'm probably not going to keep any 5-star rare gear. It doesn't matter what set, just 5-star rare is just bringing nothing to my account. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on rank and rarity. I'm going to click on blue for rare and I'm going to click 5-star. As you can see here, that is 35 bits of gear that I can get rid of straight away. Now, if you are new to this game or, early mid game, I'm not saying that this is the best practice. You just need to know what gear thresholds your account needs. The more you play this game, the more gear you're going to get, the more 6-star you're going to get, and the better rarity you're going to get. I just know for my account, 5-star blues are doing absolutely nothing. So right off the bat, I'm actually just going to delete these. That's going to leave me with 120 bits of gear to go through. It's a massive chunk gone, and we've already gained 1 million silver. So first things first, we're just going to sell all of that. That gives me a slightly easier workplace. Okay, so that was the first easy win. For easy win number 2, I've come over to this side of the screen so I'm not in the way, because now we're going to start to take a look at the gear itself. Next thing I'm going to want you to do is click here for gloves, for chests, and for boots. Then scroll down to where it says primary stats. It will be just here. We're going to click on that and we're going to select HP, not percentage, attack, not attack percentage, and defense, not defense percentage. This is just going to show you all of the flat stat gear. Now, I am actually just going to delete all of this for one simple reason. Flat stat gear, 99.9% of the time, is not worth using, and it is certainly not worth wasting silver on. That tiny little exception probably is going to apply to anyone that wants to add Chaos Ore to this gear and essentially rework it. Now, for the sake of this video, we're not going to focus on that. I would personally only use Chaos Ore on incredibly valuable gear, maybe something like Merciless, Supersonic, Feral, that stuff that you don't just get all the time, the really valuable stuff. So we are just going to take these 3 parameters here and we're going to look at what we've got, 17 more bits of gear. And you know what? This is all going to get deleted. Now, before you think, Dan, why are you going to delete a mythical chest? I've only got 1 mythical chest. It doesn't matter. Just because it's mythical, it doesn't mean it's any good. Let's have a look at the stats and work out why. As you can see here, we have a flat defense mythical chest. It's a shame because we don't have a lot of mythical gear, but we can't just get attached to something and keep it for maybe later just because it's got a nice glowing red border around it. Don't worry about rarity and all of that. More gear is going to come. The more you play this game, the more gear you're going to get. What we need to start looking at is synergy. Now let's look at this bit of gear. We've got flat defense right off the bat. That's not very good. Resistance does pair with defense. So maybe that's one pro that this bit of gear has got going for it. But if we look at the rest of the stats, we've got attack percentage, crit damage, and crit rate. Now, attack, crit damage, and crit rate screams DPS. What we've got here is bad synergy. Now, if this was an attack percentage chest, and it had crit damage, crit rate, resistance, and maybe speed on it, then it would be a no-brainer. We would roll that up and we would probably end up keeping it. But synergy is what you need to start looking for with your gear. Let's have a look at these gloves here, because I'll tell you what, I'd love some crit damage savage gloves with some crit rate, speed, and attack on them. But that's not how this worked out. We've got flat attack with flat defense, HP percentage, and speed. Now the substats have good synergy. HP percent and defense works really well. It's a shame it's not a percentage, but you know, it does work. And speed works with pretty much any stat, but once again, flat attack gloves are going to bring you nothing. So I'm just going to not get hung up on it. I'm not going to worry about re-rolling and reworking and none of that. I'm just going to select it. I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to take another, what's that, 890,000 silver. Thank you very much. Let's get rid of our filters here. And as you can see, we're down from 155 bits of gear to 103, and we haven't actually had to use our brains yet. Nice and easy. Okay, so we've got rid of the flat stat gear, and we've kind of met our threshold for gear that we're definitely not going to keep. For me, it was the 5-star rares. Now let's just go one layer deeper. For this, I like to narrow it down a little bit, so I'm just not looking at a wall of numbers. First thing I like to click on is just the weapon. That way, I've now only got 25 bits of gear to go through. So what do I see here? I see a mixture of sets, a mixture of rarities, and probably a mixture of stats. Let's just keep it very, very simple. I like to start at the top and work my way through. This is a slightly cumbersome process, but that's gear cleansing. But if you do this, your account is going to be better for it. Let's just look at the first item up here. What have we got? We've got crit rate, awesome. We've got crit damage, we've got HP, and we've got speed. Now, this might not be great for regeneration set per se, but we're not worrying about sets right now. We're just looking at good synergy. And this is great. Imagine throwing this on a nuker. They're going to have crit rate, they're going to have crit damage and speed. And on the off chance that they happen to be an HP based nuker, they're going to get even more damage. Or even just a regular nuker is going to get a little bit of survivability. This is good synergy. This is something that I would roll. Let's move on. Let's look at this bit of gear here. This is a little bit more mixed. We have an attack-based weapon, which is completely normal, but we've got accuracy, attack, and resistance. That's not synergy. You know, crit damage, crit rate, and attack would be good, or HP, defense, and resistance would pair very well. But this bit of gear does not know what it's trying to be, and for me, personally, I'm not going to sink 1,000,000 silver into it, hoping that it might become something that it isn't. So for me, that is just a straight up sell. No bad gear is going to get better no matter how much silver you throw at it. That is just kind of the cold hard truth of it. So I'm going to delete it. Let's have a look at this one. The same sort of thing is going on. This bit of gear is having an identity crisis. It doesn't really know what it's trying to be. We've got 3% stats, which is very, very nice, but they don't really pair with each other. When I've got crit damage, I like to see either speed and crit rate because all of those things go together very nicely. That's synergy. But HP, crit damage, and attack, especially on a regeneration set, sorry, but once again, I know it's a nice shiny 6-star, but it goes in the bin. Let's do one more example of the weapons, and then I will cleanse the rest off camera and we'll move on to the next thing. Sometimes people just straight up delete anything rare on their account because they think surely it can't be better than epics. Well, that's not entirely true. If we look at this bit of gear here, we've got crit rate and we've got speed. Two of the best stats that you could possibly get on Savage gear. So this is one of those examples where I think, no, I wouldn't just delete this, because if we roll this up, we first off have to recognize what are the strongest stats. Well, in this scenario, both of them are incredibly strong. So I don't care if I get 1 and 1 for rolls into each, or if either of them gets a double. This bit of gear, it will kind of make or break when it gets to level 12. So let's just roll it up in 4s, not 8s, 12s, and 16s. We get speed. Very, very, very cool. Now, like I've already said, ideally, a bit of everything because both stats are very strong, but at this stage I don't care what I get. This is already a pretty decent bit of gear. That's not going to change until level 12. Let's upgrade to 8 and see what we get. We get 1 of each. That's a healthy spread of stats. Now, this is where people start wasting a lot of silver and also get a little bit confused. We are going to take this up to 12, and before I do, I'm just going to explain what I'm looking for and what I'm not looking for. You know, what could ruin this bit of gear. I will accept HP percentage because maybe I've got an HP based nuker that needs to go. We cannot get defense on a weapon. That's just how it goes. You cannot get any form of defense on a weapon. But what's going to really make this bit of gear good is basically if we get crit damage or attack percentage. That chance is incredibly low. So I'm going to take it to 12 against my better judgment. We get crit damage. That's awesome. At this stage, what I like to do is not take it to 16 because I don't need to. I like to just X out of that and go, cool, now we've got a good bit of gear. Just off camera, I'm going to get these last little bits trimmed and then we will come back and go on to the next step. So I've cleansed through the weapons and we've ended up with 5 remaining. So at this point, we have to do some rolling because that's going to determine what we actually do or don't keep. So once again, we're going to start with the first bit of gear. I'm going to click upgrade. Now what we need to do is recognize what's the strongest stat all the way down to the weakest. For me personally, it's probably going to go speed number 1, crit rate number 2, crit damage number 3, and HP percent number 4. Now, that's if we're not looking at sets. This is just purely based on stats. If we're talking sets, then actually the 2 strongest stats are actually going to be speed and HP. Now, why is this? Very simple. Regeneration, if we look at what the set actually does, it heals by 15% every turn. It heals the wearer by 15%. So that just means 15% of your total HP. So the more HP you've got, the bigger the heal is going to be. Like I said when we first looked at this bit of gear though, is this whole getup doesn't really scream regeneration, it actually screams damage. Now I know it's not in Savage, I know it's not in like Lethal, Cruel, Merciless, anything like that. Good gear is good gear because the substats line up, not because it's part of a particular set. So let's click upgrade, and what I need to do is determine what I really want. If there was one crossover between the two, I just kind of really want some speed. So this bit of gear can go 2 ways. We can either go heavy into speed and HP, which would be really cool, or we could go like speed and crit rate, and then it becomes a bit of an offset piece for DPS. Once again, we're going to roll it in increments of 4, and this is going to tell us where it's going. So we got HP, probably in my opinion, the weakest of the stats. I'm going to take it to 8, and that's probably going to make or break how I feel about this piece. We get crit damage. At this point, this bit of gear is a no from me. Once again, it's kind of gone from potentially really good into the realm of I don't really know what this bit of gear is trying to be. At this point, for me, and the reason I have so much silver is because at this point I just tap out. What I wanted was speed, I didn't get it. Even if I got really lucky taking this up to 16 and I got a double speed, I would still have a kind of wonky bit of gear. You know what? Cut your losses, sell it. Let's move on to the next. We've got Savage set, crit rate, crit damage, accuracy. Pretty good. What's the strongest stat? What's the weakest stat? Well, I'd actually argue they're in order here. Crit rate is going to be the strongest, crit damage second, and accuracy third. So if this rolls straight into accuracy, I'm probably just going to delete it. Let's have a look. We got accuracy. Now, I'm going to give this gear one last chance. I'm only going to take this bit of gear to 8. It either hits crit rate or it goes in the bin. You've got to be fierce about how you cleanse your gear, because that's how you end up with really top tier builds on your champions. Your champions are never going to be top tier in mid gear. That is just the fact. Let's go to 8. We get a double accuracy. Sorry, but it's game over. You've got to be ruthless. One last time, let's look at this. We've got speed, awesome. Resistance, awesome. HP, flat, not awesome. I would argue once again, speed is priority stat, resistance comes second, and flat HP comes third. I'm ignoring the set at this point because, you know, we didn't get any crit rate, crit damage. Once again, let's take it up in 4s. I want speed. We don't get speed. I'm going to give it one more chance to 8. I wouldn't normally do this, but just for the sake of the video, take it to 8. It's either speed or bust. Double HP flat, it's bust, it goes in the bin. We'll do just one more for this one. Savage, great. We've got speed, we've got crit damage. Speed is going to be the strongest stat. Crit damage is going to be the second. I'm probably not going to keep this gear unless I get at least one roll into speed. We get it. Very nice. Let's take it to 8. We get double speed. Suddenly this bit of gear has just really jumped up in my expectations. I don't care that it's rare. I don't care. So far, we've got a good bit of gear. I didn't mean to click that. We are going to take this up to level 12. I want crit rate. I don't get it. I get accuracy. This has now gone from a quite exciting bit of gear to not a very exciting bit of gear. If you are early game and progressing, keep this bit of gear. It will serve you well. For my account, and this is where knowing your own account comes into play, this is going to bring me nothing. So unfortunately, it is a sell. So out of all of the weapons we pulled, we kept one rare bit of Savage because the substats were awesome. Not because it was rare, not because it was Savage, not because it was 6-star. None of that matters for this. You just need to learn to recognize good synergy in gear. I'm not going to make you watch me go through all of the rest of this, but the same logic applies every single time. We've got rid of all the flat stats. We've set our threshold of what we definitely don't want to keep. And now it is just up to you guys to learn to recognize what is the priority in this bit of gear. And you've got to set yourself quite a high standard so that you don't just settle for less. It's just like real life, you know, don't settle for less. Aim for the best. Aim for as many guarantees as you can actually get in this game. Your gear will get better, your champions will get better, you'll progress further through the game, and ultimately you will just be happier playing the game. That is all from me today, guys. I know gear cleansing is not exactly exciting, but it's one of those necessary evils that we all actually have to do. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.